Good morning if it's morning, good afternoon if it's afternoon, good evening if it's in the evening when you're watching this. How are you today? I'm fine, and I'm coming by to say hello and to talk a little bit about June. June, which is almost out the door, July is almost making its grand entrance with that holiday that is very special to all of us here in the United States. um, Independence Day, right, is coming, it's just around the corner. But let me just hold on to June for a minute because I wanted to talk about June. And we know that June, we associate June with graduations and weddings. And a lot of those things, the way we do those things changed this year because of COVID-19. But we adjust, right? We mold and adjust and create new routines and new habits because we human beings, if anything, we are survivors, right? So let me ask you this question. Are you graduating this month or during these days? Are you graduating from something, moving from point A to point B in some way or manner? Teddy, my friend Teddy over here, as you can see, oh, let's see if I can move closer to you so you see Teddy. Oh, okay, Teddy. Oh, Teddy has water way over his head, still wearing his cap and gown, was #1 in his class, but Teddy is feeling overwhelmed because after graduation, with graduation comes change, and change causes stress. Even if it's good, it's stress, right? And when we're in the middle of it, it's very hard to see. Have you ever stuck your head underwater and opened your eyes without goggles? Opened your eyes, everything looks blurry, right? And so when you're out in the surface, then you can see. Then you can see clearly. So that's the situation with Teddy. And it's hard. We're surrounded by all that stress to see things with a fresh perspective. Are you graduating from a bad job to something better? Are you passing from, have you quit a job you hated and you have taken risks that you didn't expect would be as great as they have become? Have you retired this month from a job you loved, but for whatever circumstances, you've retired? That's a routine, right, that you lost. Have you gone from being a full-time parent to an empty nester? That's changed too, right? Have you become someone's Mr. or Mrs.? Have you experienced the love of a family member, a friend, or a beloved pet? You know, this month, our Sandy crossed over. And Sandy was with us for almost 16 years. So it was very, very sad to see how sick she became and how her spirit was so strong and so brave, and she tried to hang in there until her body gave up. And so these are changes. And like I was saying, when we're in the middle of all that stress, it's very hard to see any hope in the situation, to feel a sense of agency and of empowerment to change or to look at things differently. Now that I say that, I want to remind you about Dr. Wayne Dyer. He used to say, when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. And so it's good when we're feeling that way to gain a new perspective. So in order to gain a new perspective, we have to get the heck out of here. Shake the dust or the water off and stand at a bit of a distance and look at things from a different perspective. Because you see, when you look at the water in here, it doesn't look so bad, right? It's clear. It's not murky. It's not dirty. But the light even travels through it and makes some cool designs. So how do we gain a new perspective? And you may say to me, well, Marie, what if I don't have anybody to do what you just did with Teddy? What if I don't have anybody to lift me up and out of the stress? And you know, Viktor Frankl would probably say to you, even if your body is in captivity, your mind is free. Your mind is free. So say this with me. Even if my body is in captivity, my brain is free. My mind is free. My mind is free. So your body may be in captivity, but your mind is free. So, how do we do that then? Some people pray. Sometimes, some people think out loud. Sometimes my husband tells me, what are you murmuring about? What are you mumbling about? And I tell him, I'm thinking out loud, and I'm talking to God. I am praying, and I'm having this conversation with God. I'm praying. In order to pray, you don't have to use fancy vocabulary. You don't have to scream and yell and make a point to be passionate. You don't need to do any of those things. You can speak to God in a serene manner, just like sitting across the table with a friend having a cup of coffee. That's how no stress it should be. Some people call it the universe. Well, call it the universe. I call my creator God. So anyway, I'm clear about that. If that doesn't work for you, if you're a person who needs to bounce ideas off of another, if you're somebody who needs someone to hear you, and you have the means to get a counselor, a professional to listen to you, then by all means go see a counselor. Because you see, whatever you say to your counselor is confidential. Now, I have to add the disclaimer that anything you say is confidential except for things that expressing the intention of self-harm, harming another person or another person's property. Because at that point, their priority, that counselor, therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist priority has to be to preserve life, to protect life and the property, yours and of others. So, and in protecting others, they're protecting you. Now, there's a way to go about that. It's not, let's get on the radio and tell everybody in the world. It depends on each situation is different. But having said that, sometimes you'll find that in talking to friends, they might say to you, oh yeah, that happened to me, or they might one-up you, where you tell them whatever the problem is that you're experiencing, or the fear, or whatever, and they one-up you by saying, oh, well, let me tell you about what happened to me. Mine was worse. If you didn't have shoes, I didn't have feet. So don't feel so bad. And maybe what they're trying to do is make you feel better. or make you feel validated that if they did it, you can do it too. But when you're in the midst of a situation when you're overwhelmed and so stressed and so covered by whether it's water, stones, sand, whatever it is, that you cannot see beyond your face, you don't need anybody to one up you. You need somebody who's compassionate, who has empathy, who will not judge you, who will not go gossip about your problems to other people. What else? Isn't that? It sounds like a friend, and some people do mistake the therapy relationship, the counselor-client relationship, for a friendship, but no, they're here to help you. I am a school counselor, so I did counseling sometimes I did some sessions with parents, with students, with teachers, and I'm a hypnotherapist. So I have some experience with what I'm talking to you about. So I'm going to offer a strategy here that you can use whenever you want. And so here it goes. I'm trying not to make this this video too long, but this has helped a lot of people, and I hope that it will help you too. Let me tell you this, nobody can make you do anything under hypnosis that you don't have the inclination, the natural inclination or capacity to do. You know, oh, you're making me cluck like a hen. That doesn't happen. So we're going to use our imagination, and we're going to bring up some imagery that, believe it or not, will help you deal with whatever is going on in your life right now. All right? So if you want to close your eyes, you can close your eyes. If you don't get easily distracted, then you don't have to close your eyes. I could use a metronome, which I have, but that's not going to help you more than, I don't know, lighting a candle, or even this vase of water, or even focusing on Teddy, whatever it is. You can fixate your eyes on anything in the room, whatever you want. But what I would like you to do is take 3 deep breaths, and this is how you're going to do it. Breathe through your nose, all the way down to the belly, and inflate, extend, expand your belly, and then blow it out like a balloon until it's all gone. So let's do it again. In through your nose, belly extended. And as you blow out that air, you relax your shoulders and all your upper body, arms and hands and all that. Let's take 1/3 breath. And now you're really going to concentrate on your breath. Let's try that. Through the nose, deep, and out through the mouth. Oh man, that feels really good, because that carries the oxygen all the way to your brain, into your heart, and it feels so good. And now, maybe you're feeling like you want to close your eyes now, and maybe not, but either way, I'd like you to recall a time in your life when you had feelings similar to what you're feeling now. Maybe they were just the same, or maybe they were just similar. And I want you to remember that whatever happened at that time can no longer hurt you, because you're watching it on a screen. You're going to be watching these events like on a movie screen. You can pretend, visualize, or imagine that you're in a movie theater and you're just watching these events on a huge screen. and they can no longer hurt you. Think about what events led to you feeling that way. Think of that time, younger than you are now, a time in your past where you had feelings similar to these, and what event triggered them. Maybe you were a young girl who saw the love of your life kissing another girl. Or maybe you were a guy who was cheated on or left behind by his friends or whatever it was. Maybe you were abandoned by a parent. Maybe it was something else. Maybe you were abused and didn't have anywhere to turn at that time in that moment. And that caused you stress, and that caused you to feel belittled and lesser than and not good enough, or like your life was over. And now I want you to look at that person that you were with the same compassion, empathy, love, no judgment, no belittling that you would like for yourself and that you know that he or she deserved. What would you say to them? What would you say to them from this perspective that you have now? Maybe you would say, oh, don't cry. Oh, don't worry. Don't be afraid. Everything's going to be all right. You're going to have some challenges, but you're so strong and you're so brave and you're so powerful within you that you will be able to face and overcome every single challenge you find in your way, on your way through this journey in life. You are valuable. If this was a boy that you saw kissing with another girl that he didn't want you and made you feel like you weren't good enough, guess what? You are good enough. You're better than good enough. It was his loss. He's the one who will regret not having you. The friends who left you out, someday they'll want to be your friends, but you will have moved on to bigger and better things. That parent that abused you, it'll be on your terms. At some point in your life, you will have the choice as to whether or not you have a relationship, and you will have the power to design the parameters of that relationship with that parent or that person who hurt you. And now I'd like you to imagine that you're sitting at a table with an older and wiser you. A very, very good friend. Someone who is willing to give you, who is capable of giving you the support that you need in order to overcome the situation that you're feeling, in order to feel validated and feel better about what's going on in your life right now. This is a wonderful friend. Bask in that love and in that light, because they're older and they're wiser and they've gone beyond this point, and they're still there and they're still strong and they are well. If they are well, that means you are well. Listen to what they have to say. What does your older self say to you? Whatever it is, he or she is saying something that it's very soothing, very hopeful, very caring, that makes so much sense. Something that is so positive. Soak in that feeling. Soak in their light. You look into their eyes and you know that hope is yours. You know that you're able to do whatever it takes, not only to survive, but to thrive. Lay down your burden. Maybe when you came to this meeting with that friend, you had a backpack filled with all kinds of heavy things. Just lay it down on the chair and leave it behind. And bid your friend farewell, maybe not farewell, until sometime, right? And walk north. Walk towards the north, towards a door that you know has all the answers to your questions. All the answers you need. Head north. That's the direction you want to go. North is always up. You open the door and let those answers sink in. You don't have to see anything. You don't have to, just let them sink in as you do when you're out in the sun and you feel the sun's warmth. Know that upon returning to your now and here, or your here and now, those feelings of well-being will stay with you. Because now you're ready to overcome your present challenges and grow from them. You're ready to see things from a different perspective. You have lifted yourself out of that water, out of that fog. You are free. You are free and clear. And you are fine. So take a deep breath, and I'm going to count to 3, and we're going to come back to feeling our chair and the here and now and the sounds and the sights of where we are. 1, 2, if you had closed your eyes, you can open them now. 3. How does that feel? A good idea might be now to write a letter to yourself from that friend. What things did he or she tell you? Only you and your subconscious mind know. Some people say that if you try doing it with your non-dominant hand, so I'm right-handed, I would write that letter, maybe, or those messages with my left hand, because then you're connecting with another side. The other hemisphere. So I wish you luck. I hope this helped. Definitely, if you need professional help, seek it. If you want to talk to me, I'm a hypnotherapist and a school counselor. I'm a retired school counselor, but I do have the degree. And I'm a certified hypnotherapist. But you don't have to do that. Seek help if you need it. But know that you have the answers within you. I love you very much. I wish you the best. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for watching. Mwah. And remember, the divine light that's in you, let it shine wherever you are. That was my husband who just interrupted my video. Bye.